hideously disfigured. A scarred phantom. A grotesque monster with a hole in his nose. These were the libelous accusations from a British tabloid newspaper which would see Michael Jackson, for the first time ever, launch a legal fight against his tabloid detractors.
Jackson's visit has attracted intense media attention since the announcement he's to sue the Daily Mirror for an article which claimed his face had been left hideously disfigured by plastic surgery. Today, while photographers tried to get a close-up view, he kept hiding his face and finally left the hospital in a hurry.
Look at this garbage, tabloid junk. The public is fine.
They buy the tabloid.
They buy the tabloid, so don't buy it. That would shut them down. To make ugly stories and gossip and rumors and to be vicious and evil and ugly, that is garbage. Don't buy it. Don't buy into it and don't believe it.
Throughout his life, pop icon Michael Jackson was constant fodder for the tabloid press. There were never-ending rumors of hyperbaric chambers, plastic surgeries, and trips to Disneyland. But when a British tabloid, the Daily Mirror, ran a front-page story on Jackson in 1992, Michael decided enough was enough, and for the first time ever, he began legal proceedings against the tabloid newspaper in order to set the record straight.
Some English tabloid.
It was June 1992, and Michael Jackson had just kicked off his Dangerous World Tour, performing the opening concert in Munich, Germany. In the media section of the audience was tabloid photographer Ken Lennox, and with his long lens camera he took close-up pictures of Jackson's face. Within days, these pictures would be plastered on the front cover of every copy of the Daily Mirror, with the accompanying article claiming Jackson had been left hideously disfigured by plastic surgery. It went on to claim that Jackson was a scarred phantom whose face is covered with scar tissues, with a hole in his nose, one cheek higher than the other, and an oddly sagging chin. The tabloid published several unflattering pictures of Jackson and even went as far as to describe Jackson as a grotesque monster. Jackson was incredibly hurt and angered by the articles and decided to sue the Daily Mirror and photographer Ken Lennox for the libelous hit piece. Jackson's lawyer, Mr. Bertram Fields, announced to the media that Michael Jackson will stand in a witness box and let a jury see for itself that he is not scarred, that there is no hole in his nose, and that he is not disfigured in any way. Jackson's team claimed the pictures in the Daily Mirror had been taken from a strange angle and harsh artificial light and was not an accurate representation of the singer. Even when Jackson began his legal proceedings, the Daily Mirror continued to taunt Jackson by running further front-page stories, again broadcasting Jackson's face to the world, under the assertion that he was disfigured by plastic surgery. And the day after Jackson's lawsuit was filed, the tabloid challenged Jackson to submit to photographs by their cameramen in natural light, and to take the photos to an expert to prove they had not been doctored.
Let's be honest. It's a riveting show when a big entertainer gets taken down.
It was 1992. There was no internet, no social media. The newspapers were the windows to the world, and they could pretty much print and say however they pleased without repercussion. The world only saw what the media wanted you to see. 5 years earlier, whilst on his record-breaking Bad tour, Michael, under the pressure of the Jackson tabloid frenzy, wrote a letter to People magazine where he asked, "Don't judge a man until you've walked 2 moons in his loafers. Most people don't know me. That is why they write such things in which most is not true. I cry very, very often because it hurts." He went on to ask the media to have mercy, for I've been bleeding a long time now. It was clear that Jackson was struggling to deal with the pressure of touring, fame, and press intrusion. He had reached the stage whereby the press had built him up and were now ready to take him down. When Jackson saw the 1992 Daily Mirror article labeling him as disfigured, he quickly began legal proceedings against the paper and its photographer. Eventually, Daily Mirror legal chief Charles Collier-Wright would travel from the UK to Los Angeles. With him was a UK surgeon. They had agreed to medically examine Jackson in person. The meeting took place at a hotel in Universal City, Los Angeles. Mirror chief Collier-Wright described the meeting as a very bizarre encounter. He claimed that Jackson was very friendly and was wearing a hairnet unusually. The surgeon conducted a professional examination of his face and nose. At this stage, it wasn't as bad as we had imagined, but it did seem the whole nose was being held together by cartilage on the tip. It definitely needed reinforcing. Now that they were face to face with Jackson, the Mirror team had no choice but to concede that they had been in the wrong. And when the case went to the High Court in London, Mirror Group newspapers and the paper's former editor Richard Stott would acknowledge that Michael Jackson was neither hideously disfigured nor scarred. Michael Jackson's solicitor, Marcus Barkley, informed the judge, Mr. Justice Popplewell, that the case had been settled amicably on confidential terms between the two parties. The Mirror apologized to Michael Jackson and said they regret the injury which has been done to the plaintiff's reputation and have agreed they will not repeat these allegations. It was a rare case of Michael Jackson standing up to the tabloids, but he did, and he won.